This girl started knowing about this thing when she was a kid, and you want to tell her the goodness at 26.
26. But if I go to church, I'm a preacher. I go to my church, I start preaching, I'm talking a lot about my boss, talking a lot about my company. What does it profit the audience? We are gathered here specifically for the gospel of Christ.
You find us on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Oh, let's talk. Let's talk.
A very good evening to you all as we once again welcome you to Let's Talk with Mordecai Kamanga. I am your host, Tapiwa Makosa, and we are bringing you another enjoyable and not worth conversation today on this platform. And we want to thank you for all those that have been responding, that have been watching, liking, and sharing, and keeping the conversation going over past weeks. And we hope you enjoyed the guests that we had over the couple of weeks. We had Gerald, where we had 2 episodes. Last week, we had Baba Namai Manjera talking about relationships and counseling, and especially for young couples, and the work that they were doing. And hopefully, you were also enlightened that if you would want them to come back, please go on their video, comment that they come back, and maybe we will sort out something that we might bring them back again on the on this platform and have a conversation with them. So I'm glad that we are here, and today we want to welcome back the visionary.
The visionary, brother.
Today I'm joined with the man. I think achangobva kubuda muchirugwi anga akazvarira. So I'm joined by Mordecai. Morde, how are you, my friend?
How are you doing?
Hey,
December. So
ndichadzingwa. Unosvika position yaenda.
Yeah, it's easy with position here. Hey, man, things have been a bit hectic for me. So I had a lot of work. So sometimes I didn't have time to eat. During working hours, I would maybe eat while I'm working because I was busy. There was no time for lunch. So, but glad to be back.
Nah, we are happy to have you here. Ndo kushandira mhuri kwacho.
Tingarise. Dzotakatanga.
Sure kama katisira chinhu chenyu tinoenda nacho nekumwe zvakazobuda nepamwe. Tenjira kuti vanhu.
But no, I've been following the interviews you did with Gerald Musala. Quite interesting, informative videos, interviews that you had with Gerald. And also last week you had Florence and Pardon Manjera. That one, I loved it. And I'm sure the single people, even the married ones, got a little bit of help that they might need. And it was quite good. I would love for them to come back. You say that people should write in the comment section for them to come back. I'm the first one. They should come
please
back.
go. I mean, this is how we put the world out there also, because they are actually doing a great work. I totally love their work that they're doing. They are working in, and it's a different territory, especially putting it on YouTube, in that informal conversational style, big brother, big sister, sitting on their sofa, on their couch, talking to you. I tell you what we do when they send out a video. I don't watch it alone. I usually wait when we are together with my wife and we play it together.
Oh, okay.
So that I don't listen to it and then go like, oh, did you hear what they were saying? And also I actually felt bad when we recorded because I had headphones and she was here And
Also, she couldn't hear,
she couldn't hear what they were saying,
but she only
you
heard
know,
what she was.
and then she could only hear me respond. So she had,
Oh,
so I felt
shame.
bad. This is why
Yeah.
you see today I don't have headphones.
So, but
She's
how
not
was it?
here today.
But how was it, man? When did you follow up with her on that episode you
She
did with them together?
Yes, she did enjoy it because
Okay.
after recording, she was like, I was saying, because remember, I think I went straight into sex issues, and she was like, I was surprised, like, why is Tapua starting with just go?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was like one commenter said,
Yeah, but I don't think Zinyadzi, it's how things Zinyadzi singer. I think Zinz no, what should I say? It's the proper way to say it. There's no other way to say it.
yeah,
So I've heard that so many people they shy away from talking real issues because they're scared that if I say the word sex, it's going to sound weird to some people. But that's the way to say it. The
yeah.
I think what okay, let me not say it, but I
No,
think
go ahead.
that was the
Let's
way to
talk.
say it. That was
No, say
I'm saying
it.
it.
I'm not.
No, no,
I'm
no.
not
Let me
allowing
say.
you not to say it. Say
Okay,
it.
okay. I think that is the way to say it. What you say it, or to use the word, the right word. Which other word would you have used? There's no other way to
Um,
use. So I think that is the best way to say it. I've seen a lot of people in churches, if they hear the word like that, sex, they already think that it's an act that is happening. No, but that's how you should address it.
and I think that's the point maybe that we didn't discuss,
Mm,
and as you're actually saying, there is words that have been put aside,
mm.
you know, to the fact that they seem not to exist. No wonder
Yeah.
why I always hate that position to say it's the construct in which this union, in which you see me not trying to say sex, in
Mm.
which sex has been discussed. It's
Yeah.
been discussed in the
Yeah.
negative of it being
Mm,
fornication, of it
mm.
being adultery. You
Yeah.
don't hear people. It's not on the platform when you are uh even if you go to youth meetings, it's mainly about, oh, you want to be fornicating, sleeping around, but what is that exactly?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So the connotation then, the framing of the act is somewhat, for a good reason, but it's somewhat emphasized in the negative.
Mm.
Then, to the fact that the act doesn't exist in
Yeah.
its own self, in its own right, and in its own goodness. You
Mm.
see, you no longer see the act just like, if it's like the term drinking.
Yeah.
I might put it that way. If you just say drinking, many people will say, oh, do you drink? It's thinking of alcohol,
They're only thinking of alcohol. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but we drink every
We
day.
drink water. We drink
And we
also
drink water. You,
juice.
you
So
can drink juice. You see, so
yeah.
it's so, if words, if certain things have been said and they are not introduced in their fullness,
Mm.
because like we said, this it's the same act. The act is going to remain the same.
Yeah.
It's just the different circumstances in which the act has been done.
Exactly. Exactly. So
And
uh,
that's where all the issue. So if you say sex, people cringe, like, oh,
yeah.
what are you talking about? Why are you talking about sex as if it is wrong?
Mm.
No, sex itself
It's
isn't
not
wrong.
wrong. It's not wrong. Yeah.
Fornication is wrong, which
Mm-hmm.
is sex outside of
Adultery is
marriage.
wrong. Yes.
Then adultery is wrong, which is sex again outside of.
Out
So
of
it's
marriage. Yeah.
where it is happening.
Mm.
You see, in
But the word,
marriage,
but using the word itself to say sex is not Zinyans.
no, yeah, sex is not wrong.
Because that's why you was I when you were saying that these girls they are told that before you get married you are having you have sex or you have fornication whatever they use the word that they use now when are getting into marriage now it becomes difficult now what is that act that I'm going to be doing you see, now then, for us, we are shy to say, to use, those that are shy to use the word sex. What else, what other word are you going to use now to train this girl that is getting into marriage? To tell, you see. So, sex, the word itself is not wrong. It's the way we should address the word and address the whatever act is it. If it's fornication, if it's sex in the marriage, or if it's sex outside of the marriage. So the
Yes.
word, like the words, the proper words for anything is not wrong, but the way
Exactly.
where they are used, the circumstances and the places that those words are being used. That's where it might be maybe, not be not appropriate or vulgar. You
Exactly.
see,
I
but
would say I would say for people who play with the table,
Mhm.
if you go on the table, search sex appeal,
Mm.
and you see how he mentioned it. So go
Yeah.
on the table, search sex appeal, and you see how he addresses some of these things. If you listen to marriage and divorce, you see how he addressed. You went deep in marriage and divorce,
Mm.
addressing some of the things in detail, which to an untrained eye you think it's something else, but he
Mm.
went deep into that. But well,
Yeah. At
it's
the end
just
of the
the
day,
tip.
context is very important.
Yes,
You need to, and
very
yeah,
very
context
true.
is very important. So, what's been
But I
happening?
think
Okay.
wait.
Okay.
I,
Okay. Okay.
I
Come.
think
Come.
context is very true. Before we go on, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we are here lingering already. Before
Yeah.
we go on,
Let's. Yeah.
context is
Okay.
very true.
Mm.
But I was going to say this is why this platform which you created is helpful. It's
Mm.
let's talk.
Yeah.
We the thing is, as people, we have these conversations elsewhere without even betting an eye most of the time. And
Mm.
then when it is now within religious circles, that's when people tend to shy away.
Mm.
As if outside they did not. I speak from experience because I had the opportunity to be working with the Ministry of Health at one time, and I was in a program called Sexual and Reproductive Health.
Yeah.
In talking about sexual and gender-based violence, I worked with the Zimbabwe National Family Planning Council, ZNFPC,
Mm.
in collaboration with them and other guys. And if you go to their meetings and then they would come, the trainers, they're training you before you go, and then they
Mm.
would explain things, and you'll be like, whew. But it kind of helped now trying to distinguish between what is right. The act is
Mm.
not wrong. The
Mm.
circumstances in which the act is done
Yes.
is what is wrong.
Mm.
So then itself, the act is not demonic, it's sanctioned of God. God made it the way that we should reproduce. Because
Yeah.
if you want to look back to creation had no other way of repopulating, and that is what is perfect. So
Mm.
man also is that way, and that is what is perfect in the eyes of
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So thank you for the platform that we can bring people who can say things that invoke. But apart
Mm.
from sex, did you hear what they spoke about counseling? Did you go for counseling? What was your experience about marriage counseling before you said I do, I do?
Yeah. What I'm going to say, I'm going to be very careful, and it might offend some people because the, the fact that I'm talking about it, or I'll talk about it, it's simply going to offend some people. How did it go out? Did I go for counseling? And simple answer is no. And why? I don't know. And did someone approach me? No. Okay. The simple counseling that I went through was it's a general counseling where everyone will come and say, okay, you are getting married. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. But no one took me down and sit me down and say, this is what is going to happen. You face this in marriage. You're going to see this first week, 2 weeks, 1 month after that. You are going to see this and that. The only thing that people say is for the first for the first 3 years or less, you're going to suffer. You're going. Sometimes you sleep on hungry stomachs and all those things. I slept hungry, man. I grew up in Zim. You grew up in Zim. You know the situation in Zim where I know how to sleep on a hungry stomach.
Eating.
So you can't tell me anything about suffering. I've suffered enough as a young person, like as a child in their home. You see, so I didn't go for counseling, and no one came to me and said anything about. It's just when you hear people saying, and then you took that as counseling. but no proper counseling from those that were supposed to give us counseling. And
Actually,
also
maybe,
is
sorry to cut you.
okay, yeah, yeah.
I was going to, when you're saying whatever, your position, is it that then is it actually necessary if you're doing okay? Do you then think to say, oh, because sometimes when you talk about these things, some people might be like, oh, well, we are all good and we didn't get any counseling, and we are doing fine.
You see, I think I don't know what to say, but I don't know what counseling is. If someone, because so now I don't know if it was going to be good or not good. But as I went on with my wife, we discovered a lot of things about each other that behaviors and attitudes and stuff that we were not expecting. She saw a lot of things from me that she wasn't expecting. The same thing with me. So I wouldn't know if I had gotten counseling, it was going to be better, or how I was going to approach it, to approach any situation that we faced in our marriage and stuff. So, but after all, we managed to overcome. Like it's been 3 years, or almost going to 4 years now. But
Oh,
I've,
congratulations.
yeah, we've learned to tolerate each other. We've learned to live with each other, and we've learned to love each other better.
And
And
that's good.
also on that note, I wanted to say something that Ruvimbo, I spoke to her the other time,
Mhm,
and she's writing a book, by the way. And this book she's writing, she's addressing it to the boy child.
mhm.
So she was telling me that a boy child is not trained. The reason, many people, they assume or they think that a boy child is enough. There's not much to teach a boy child. What should we teach? There's a lot of organizations that are going about the girl child, saying, oh, let's do this for the girl child, let's protect the girl
Uh-huh.
child. But who is protecting the girl child? All the education, the knowledge that you giving to the girl child, at the end of the day, this girl child is going to live with the boy child who does not have any training. So there is a void.
There actually is a void. Definitely, and I think also like what she identified and is trying to bring out and gap and
Mm,
bridge through his book, through her book. You
mm.
should probably bring her and re-interview her again and
Yes.
talk about the book itself. Um, the gap between what the boy child. You see, so the thing is, the move around protection of girl child is based on that given assumption that we live in a masculine world.
Mm.
You know, that was the assumption. We live in a masculine world.
Mm.
Uh, patriarchy is it?
Yeah.
And then therefore, what a boy child cannot get by either being educated, he gets it by force or
Mm.
by nature, by force of nature,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because he is a boy. But then what we are not realizing is we are living in a world that's changing, that
Mm.
has moved away, in as much as it has done it slowly, it is
Mm.
moving away from patriarchy in the full sense of
Mm.
patriarchy. It's moving to a center where it's relying much more either on the individuality, with fringe groups being given more voice and more power and them dictating over what it's supposed to be. So
Mm.
when the girl child has been empowered to stand against the boy child now is faced
Mm.
with an empowered girl child and a world that is no longer supporting him because patriarchy itself is under attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And this might sound unpopular, but if you look around in the different worlds that we live in, look at just the structures, the social society structures, look at uh, where much money for lobbying, where much money for a social reconstruction and everything else come from,
Mm.
you see. And you realize that behind them there is an agenda of subverting. We go into gender theory and stuff like that, subverting what is man and what is woman. There is
Mm.
a strong force. For Africa, I would want to say it usually gets there a bit much more later,
Yeah.
but But because now sometimes we are also dependent on the donations from some of these countries, it
Yeah.
comes with an ideology and with your theology. Hence the gap where the boy child has been forgotten, because the girl child, in trying to bring her up, some of the understanding, when the feminism wave went through, some of them, of the understanding or the misunderstanding thereof, saw the boy child as if he is an enemy
Mm,
against,
mm.
whereas they should have been looking at the system under which the boy child is also adhered
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's a given that when we grow up as boy child, at the end we are going to be given the baton. No, the people at the top, the
Mm.
higher echelons, they are not going to prepare a table for us to come and possess. They
Mm.
want to stay there. They want to dominate. They want their heirs to do it. So the
Mm.
boy child is now pressed in between the woman who's supposed to be supportive, who is now saying, I know what to stand for, and I stand for myself. And in radical stances, I don't need you to be who I want to be. You see,
Yes.
then the
Yes.
boy child is left with a void, because
Mm.
I believe inherently is thinking I should somewhat be a mini savior. I should somewhat be a mini provider. I should somewhat be a
Mm.
mini protector. But then the person I should run to protect is actually telling me I don't need your
Yes.
protection. I don't need your loving. I don't need you to be there for me to attain what I want.
Yeah.
That is my rambling and philosophical amusings around this issue.
Yeah,
But
but what do you think should happen, should be done? Because uh, in trying to nurture or to give education to a girl child, the boy child is still left behind now. Like I want to say something. I went to my wife was graduate when she graduated in 2020 23. I went to her university there. So I would say 60 or 70% of the graduates there were girls, and 40% were boys. And I would like to believe that girls were more empowered or are more empowered in this world than boys, because in trying to fix the gap that was there between boys and girls, they overdid it to a point where they forgot the boy child or the men. They over educated the girl. The girl. Was
you're going to get cancelled, my friend.
I really saw it. Yeah, I know, but I mean, we need to bring a balance. I'm sure, like from what I heard from Nicole, her book is trying to bring the balance. The balance. She does things for women and all sorts of things. But I was surprised. I was talking to her like, you are talking to me about girls, and oh, you are hosting this event for girls and women, single mothers and mothers and stuff, but you are writing a book about a boy child. Why are you doing that? You see, so she explained, that's when she explained to me that no, there is a void and we need to strike a balance. This book is also talking to a boy child as well as a girl child, but focusing more on the boy child. So if we had you have many people like that who can see, okay, there is a problem, here's the problem, let's how do we fix it? Okay, let me write something about it, let me do a podcast about it, let me do videos about it, and so we can strike a balance, you see.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And what I could also point out with is, you ask, so what went wrong, what can be done?
Mm,
um I think the I'm not necessarily to say what went wrong and stuff. What could have helped more is you take along the boy and the girl,
mm,
you know, because take your kid, you've got a daughter, and when she goes out to kindergarten, to crash, she's playing with the boys. there is nothing much that they know apart from like we are going to do our patents and then we go and do our things. So it means education somewhat it there's a point where it's gonna come. So I
Mhm.
was just fixing this because it just moved.
No, no
Uh,
problem.
yeah, it's there's a point where it needs not to separate them
Mhm.
but to take them along, because you're talking about the issues of respect, you're talking about the issue of individuality, and equal rights and equity.
Mhm.
So if you look through those lenses now with my limited understanding and knowledge, and you think in terms of, if we pick your example of your wife graduating,
Mhm.
in the world that we live in, 52% are women, 48% are men.
Yeah.
So if I take that structuralist approach, I would
Mhm.
say I'm not surprised if women are more in a place than men, because they are already more in this whole place than they
Yeah.
are men.
But
But because of living circumstances, because of societal differences, because of other
yeah,
factors,
yeah, yeah.
we have men as leadership. And we can say even the religion itself was used and is still being used in certain circles,
Yeah.
you know, to harm,
Hmm.
you know, to instead of nurturing, instead of creating a platform where everyone is equal in
Yeah.
terms of having access. And when that relationship between what males and females are supposed to be, what men and women are supposed to be, and how they are supposed to contribute either to the society, either to the family, either to the church and everything else,
Mm.
there is a historical imbalance,
Yeah.
if you might say. But then the correction has been also a kind of an overcorrection, especially in other circles.
Yeah.
And then so it kind of starts like a cycle, which is where I agree with Ruvimbo to say the best is to take along the boy child as you are empowering. If
Mm.
you go into the programming world, I saw this when I was working in government. You know, when you are doing programs, you are saying, "Oh, we are." I was in sexual and reproductive health. We did what we call young girls, sexual and reproductive health, trying to introduce them, to your changing bodies. You are going to be menstruating and things like that, you know. But then we would sit in boardrooms and you sit with the experts, and then they will tell you, um, yes, we are telling the young girl, should protect yourself, don't let anyone to touch you and stuff. We are
Mm.
forgetting that probably the 12-year-old boy that is extending his hand to touch the hand of that girl doesn't know what he is actually doing, because he is also passing through the same puberty.
Mm. Yeah.
Do you get that? So if you take the girl and say, if this boy touches you, make sure you report, which is a good thing in one way. But if you don't tell the boy how he should relate with these changes in his own body, you're going
Mm.
to create girls that are antagonistic to the boys of their same age,
Mm.
because they'll be like, "Oh, what are you trying to do to me?" It's not like the boy knows any better. He doesn't know any better.
Yeah, that's
Someone
correct.
to sit him down to tell you, you know what, at that age, you're going through changes. As you're going to grow those little hairs in the armpits, and your voice is deepening, and you start
Mm.
looking down, things are growing,
Mm.
and you feel like you can fight your father.
Yeah.
Those changes also, the hormones are going to change. It means you are going to look at the friend that you would run around with, you're going to be shy, not wanting to talk with them. How
Mm.
do you process that? It's a natural aspect. I
Mm.
remember one time, I think I posted to say, uh girls should be told, when they start their cycles, that they to come to a point when hormones are released, a lot of hormones are released, and then they have got certain ages, you
Mhm.
know
Yeah.
that part is not last. It's just because your body, because it's going through a cycle, it is preparing to receive a seed. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whether you are a Christian or you are not a Christian. You
Mm.
just need to be disciplined to know that you don't need to four whims to what your body is telling you to say, find someone to have a baby with. And I think it actually caused some noise with other people saying, oh, that's wrong of you. If someone is not married, they would not do that. I was like, no, science doesn't say that. Because if the body is preparing you for having a baby and
Yeah.
wanting to receive a seed before it releases out the egg, there is certain things that you might feel, that you might happen in your body, that in itself isn't demonic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, I've rambled all about on this issue. I don't know if I even make sense.
Yeah.
Tell
You.
me
You.
in the tell me in the comment section if I made sense with what I have said, and tell us about your experiences. Do you still understand or remember when you passed through your teenagehood, as your hormones changed, puberty? How did you handle it? Did you discuss, if you are a lady, did you discuss with your mother? Or if you're a guy, did you discuss with your father and everything else? Who knows? Over to you, Monte. You wanted to say
Yeah,
something.
you said a lot of things here. You said a lot, but also I want to ask something. What do you think about sexual education, like the one that happens in your home? You have a child that's a girl child or boy child. At what age do you think you should start teaching them about or informing them about sexual education? Because I've
I
seen
think
we don't like sexual education and reproductive health and all those things. I'm sure it's very those things are very critical. Those are the things that people children need to know. And I have we grew up as boys. I'm sure you and me can agree to this, that we've never received anything from our fathers to sit me down. You
no.
are going to go through this. You are now 10 years old, 12 years old. You are going to go through this and that and this. You are going to have wet dreams and all those things. I I discovered everything on my own. Things happened on my own. I wasn't able to go to my father and say, this thing
Like
is happening. It's strange.
it's
You
a
know,
demon. You've got a spiritual
strange thing.
husband.
Yes, we were told that we'd hear even in churches that you are
Spiritual wife, spiritual
spiritual
husband.
wives, and they come in your dreams and this and that and stuff. Because also we didn't have education when we started learning. This was in primary. Now when we started understanding, it was in primary school, I think grade 6 or 7, somewhere like that. Somewhere they were teaching us about it was in content, right? In when it
Content.
was,
Yeah,
yes.
content.
So that's where we got a little bit of it, but it was not enough for us to understand how our bodies work and stuff. So, at what age do you think maybe you should start teaching your child, a boy child or a girl child? Because I'm sure girls, at least they received a little bit of it, but on the boy side, it's negative.
Yeah. Um, I don't have the I cannot give you an age range,
Mm,
but I can say the best thing is to work along with the. This is for parents or guardians who should be involved in their child education,
mm,
especially if you are reliant with the public education, like most of us do. You go to a council school, you
mm.
should be active in the child's homework. I would
Yes.
say the opportunity is there when you see that the homework is now on a reproduction.
Yes.
Then you start talking about that, because and I come from this. We are living in a very dangerous world. That's the truth. And sex ed is the number one thing that is also being pushed. We've been talking about agendas,
Mm,
but then the type of sex ed that is given is not Christian sex ed. It's just
mm.
sexual education.
Yeah.
The teacher is going to be, in other places, maybe back home with our cultural and in conservatism, the teacher might tell you, if don't do this until you are this and that, until you are married. But in other spaces, they are not going to say, don't do this. They are telling you, if you want to do this, make sure you have got A and B
And
and
be
C.
yes, yes, I've seen that. Yeah,
You
yeah.
see, so I say the opportunity is when, if you are following and if you have got that relationship with your kid, talking about the things that they are learning at school, And if you are following their homeworks, at least you have an idea to say, okay, I think they are on reproductive. Work as an aid to what they are learning, so that it doesn't just become new in school, because you don't know what is going to be taught. You don't
Yeah.
know what the teacher is going to go according to the syllabi, and according probably to their own professionalism or unprofessionalism.
Yeah.
You as a parent, now you've got that role of bringing in that balance to naturalize what is natural, and then package it in the Christian context for the young kid to understand this. Don't just leave the teachers to do the whole job. So the age, I would say, when they're learning it at school, if possible,
You take the advantage.
also take advantage of that. If you are confident enough, you probably would have already spoken about it. People parent differently. But for me, that is the age where I feel like there is an opportunity. The kid hears from school. If you are engaged, you tell them, oh, at school you're learning this, this, and that you are naming this. So this is what it happens. Then you add the other voice, the parental, so that the kid now trusts school, trusts you that they can talk about this. If you are not following what is happening then at school, the kid will discuss in class, but I don't remember going to my parents. I grew up with my grandparents. I don't and uncles. I didn't remember even going to my grandparents and uncles to say, "Oh, we are learning this about in school. Can you tell me more?"
Yeah.
Because already it's a topic which we do not talk about in our homes. It's not freely spoken about. But
Yeah.
now the new generation of parents like you,
Yeah.
you know us
You have
now,
to.
because we are fighting much more. Because the other thing, sorry, I talk too much.
No
The
talk.
other thing is, where is our kids are spending much of their time on their tablets. You're saying before we start, when we're starting, you were out about most of the time, you were eating whilst working.
Yeah.
So time with your daughter and wife is limited. Your
Limited.
wife is probably busy with something else. We tend to end up saying, okay, here's a tablet, watch Coco Melon, watch this and that. Do you get that? But
Yeah.
we don't know what else can be thrown to that kid, to that person, whilst they are on that tablet. In the UK, they had issue with this gaming platform Roblox.
Okay. Yeah, I heard of it.
Yeah.
I've
So
seen it.
so you have got different platforms that kids now, because they are techno savvy, we have thrown the tablet to them. Some of them, they are actually tech savvy than us. The language that they use, I've been to a house with kids when they will be playing and they put it, and I'm like, I don't even understand whatever game you are playing. It doesn't even make sense. Like, we've
Yeah.
been watching, they put it on the telly. I don't even understand what is happening. So that's how outside we are. That's how far fallen back we are. The people then who understand the language of the kids usually take advantage of such platforms, usually take advantage of such opportunities. And if we as parents don't talk about it as early as when we know now that these things have been introduced to them, we have already lost them. So,
Yeah.
but remember now, the girl I said that is 26. This girl
Yeah.
started knowing about this thing when she was a kid, and you wanted to tell her the goodness at 26.
26. But all this time you were telling them the negative
That,
things about it.
yeah.
Yo, yes,
So
yeah. This topic is a very broad. There's a lot of subtopics that I'm even thinking about right now. But maybe because of our time, we can just move on to
yeah,
another
sure.
one
I think we
because
can. I wasn't even. I don't know why we lingered for a long time. I think we
yeah,
have
well, no, I
gone
think
away.
maybe it was very important for us to also to pass by there and talk about something from that topic. So I don't know what you got for us again.
Oh man, oh man. Whoa, you were far away. Yeah, did you hear about?
About
I
what?
thought maybe when you are coming back, you're going to bring me a gift. I want also a raptor.
Oh, a raptor. I might not be able to afford a raptor, but I'll be able to afford a toy one.
That I mean, there's always something to
What's
to
happening
study
with
with.
raptors and things?
Nah, I mean,
Are
a
we
raptor
are we
is a
getting are we getting are we as let's talk, are we getting a raptor for the business?
Yeah, well, for now no, we can get toy ones.
Toy ones.
Yeah, for now we can get toy ones, but people have been blessed. You know, people have been blessed and they have been gifted cars. But then there's also that social media noise that I don't know if you have been following about what then do these gifts mean. So maybe just to touch a bit about gifts. Is it bad to receive a gift from a fellow minister?
Gifts. Oh,
A car.
a car is if okay. If I give you a car, I gifted you. So
So
this is not
so if you
this,
give me a if you come and I'm a preacher, you
mhm.
come to my church after you preach, you give me a car. Is there anything wrong with that?
Who am I in this case? Like, but okay,
Well,
without even saying that, I think there's nothing wrong to give a gift or to receive a
mhm.
gift. Anyone can receive. We received lots of gifts. Okay, my child was born last year. She received gifts before she even turned one. She's turning one again on the 28th. You should send a gift. There's nothing wrong about that. What's wrong if I receive a gift, even a car, even an aeroplane? What's wrong? I think it's a
No,
good thing that people can gift and also people can receive gifts. Nothing
yeah,
wrong.
no that. So
Mm.
yeah, so that's the noise that has been happening whilst you were away on social media.
Yeah.
Where we have got pastors in your church,
Mm.
and they were blessed after a convention.
I don't know which my church. I'm in Joburg. I'm based in Joburg. I'm based in Joburg. I don't know which
Yere, wawazani.
it didn't it didn't dream Joburg, and I've been here for quite a number of years. So I
Okay,
don't
fine.
know
Okay,
which
fine.
one.
Okay, fine.
Which
Okay.
yeah. So I don't know, but I've heard a lot of things. But this thing of cars, I didn't really see it. I think I overheard someone talking about the cars and stuff, but I don't know the
So
details.
there
What
was a
happened?
convention. There was a
Yeah.
convention that happened in Mashava.
Okay. I listened to one of the services in Mashawa, but this
Uh-huh.
one of cars, one person I heard who received the car was another pastor. It's in the public domain. I will say the name of the pastor that I had receiving the car. Pastor Berry. I'm not sure which Pastor Berry is this one,
From
but
Machine.
it's from
That's
Ashim.
from
Yeah,
Machine.
I listened to one of the services, and that pastor was gifted a car in the church. The pastor Berry, I'll give you this car and stuff. And yeah, that's the only person that I've seen, or yeah, I'm sure of, because I listened to
So
that by like on YouTube. I have sermons or something going on, then it just went on. I started listening to it. I was working, I think I was doing something, and then like, okay, let me just listen to this. I listened to it and all the preachers. I think I listened to the whole song service, and I think the whole thing I listened to it. Yeah.
so yeah. So after that convention, I would say the main preachers, the men who did a lot of work in the Mashingo province, especially Mashingo town just outside,
Mhm.
um, were gifted because I received a video of them being gifted. A background song playing new things have been declared, and
Oh,
them
okay.
being given car keys,
Wow.
of cars. So, but then the issue people started making noise with
Yeah.
were the individual that is giving these cars
Mhm.
is the presidential advisor to the republic's president.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So then people started trying to draw in the parallels in between. Are these cars coming from a man of God or are coming from a political party? And
So,
for me, this is then what I felt to see. In as much, I think this is what is unspoken mainly,
mm,
to say, okay, when we then when ministers then receive these gifts and these conventions that are going around the country, in different place, different districts, different provinces,
mm,
is it furthering the gospel, but or also it has got a mixture of the political aspect? Is
yeah.
it winning the hearts of men, or is it furthering the gospel of Christ? Or but it was also about people melting their hearts or mellowing the hearts of the people so that they look also at the ruling party in a very good way. Where
Okay.
do we then draw the line of a man that is seen on different platforms as a political player and also as a minister of the gospel?
So, what do you think? Before I say something,
I'm
I
asking
you
you.
ask nah. Okay, since you're asking me, I'll say my thoughts. I'll say my thoughts,
Uh-huh.
and this is my own opinion, and this doesn't reflect the podcast. This is me, and I just don't want to say things that people will come at me, or just people think that I saw someone on my post that I made yesterday saying, or on Saturday, saying
Mhm.
that in looking for attention, be careful of what you're saying and stuff. I'm not looking for attention. We're a podcast. We discuss things, so
Well,
uh,
let's talk.
we'll talk and we exercise our right of freedom of
Talking.
speech. That's why we are called Let's Talk. We will talk. So this is going to be my opinion, my own. So I listen to what I've listened to and what I've seen. I only say to, like, on that service I listened to, it's only one pastor that got a car, and the minister that was preaching is the advisor. And what I felt, if you really listen carefully, critically listen and analyze what was being said there, from what I got, there is an agenda behind. There is intimidation.
Ooh. Ooh.
There is manipulation.
Big words.
Right. That's what I got from what I've listened to. Two ministers, and I would want to think from what they were saying is that these ministers or these preachers or these pastors, they are linked to a certain organization. I don't want to say that these cars are coming from that organization, but I want to believe that, or there is an agenda behind, because from what they're saying, you listen to one of the ministers, he's preaching 80% of what he's preaching is talking about organization and its president.
Oh,
So you would see that no, this is not about church. This is not
how many
about
times was
God.
Jesus Christ mentioned?
Jesus Christ could have been mentioned 100 times or million times. But one, uh, when someone wants to drive an agenda and knowing with the place where they are right now, if I'm in let's say, we are a podcast, right? But I want to
Yep.
drive an agenda that I want to bring something that a lot of people do not agree with here. What I have to talk about more, I will still talk about a lot of things about the podcast. I'll still talk about microphones, I still talk about headphones and all those things, but I will just inject a little thought. Did you see also this angle of this organization? Was this minister I'm talking about? I've heard him several times talking about this organization, its president, to a point where, for no reason, bashing South African government or South African people because of what they are saying, of what they do, and trying to go against them, to just to drive an agenda that this country is moving forward. This country is moving forward because of this organization I'm talking about. I want you guys to see something good
Emulate.
about this organization, because these people that are giving cars, I'm not saying these cars are coming from this organization. These people that are giving these cars, they are very close to the organization's leadership.
Political party, not just
Political.
organization.
Okay, let's be a political party.
It's a political
I
party.
didn't want
Not
to
just.
say I didn't want to
I
say
know
political party,
it's a
but it
We are
is
saying it's a presidential advisor. Presidential advisor is not president of this
social.
podcast,
Yeah,
or
okay.
it's president
Let's
of the
let,
country. It's
let's
a
say that.
political party.
Let's say that. Let's say that this political party. So these people are very close, and they're beneficiaries of this regime. So I wouldn't believe anything they'll say, because why would I?
Interesting. So what would you do then if you you were in Babylon with Daniel, Shadrach, and Meshach?
I have no issues if you are working with with the president, with whoever, but know when to stop, know where the place where you are, know what you have to say. Was okay, for example, I work for a company, but if I go to church, I'm a preacher. I go to my church, I start preaching, I'm talking a lot about my boss, talking a lot about my company. What does it profit the audience? We are gathered here specifically for the gospel of Christ, but I'm busy talking about my boss, I'm busy talking about the company I work for.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are you going to profit from there? Yes,
So I
giving
want
the cars, I can, if I get the money to, I can gift anyone the car, cars like the pastors and stuff. There's nothing wrong about that. Nothing wrong about supporting your political party, and but bringing it to the church, because you are a beneficiary of
that
that
political
same
system.
political party system. Uh, this is my opinion, and I'm happy
Yeah,
to say it. And
and it's a,
anyone is welcome to disagree with me and say what they want to
yeah,
say.
I would want to hear the people's opinions and responses on in the comment section. And uh, what do you think of his take on that? I've got mine opinion, which I widely shared,
No, you can still share them here.
and I can share it here. And my opinion is simple. Like it's kind of like in line with what you said. I have no problems with gifting. You know,
Mm,
what can be a challenge is some form of double standards.
mhm,
And again, for like you said, the element of intimidation, the element of, for me, I look at it from a point of proselyting,
mhm.
where in the sense of, if you do not become part of us, you are therefore our enemy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not full cooperation by Christian heart. It's full cooperation if you are probably a small church and a small place, and these huge big people are coming in, they are bringing in also material blessings with them that they are giving to people, which is helpful to community. And you have got maybe a different way of understanding, especially if you are in the same community. You're
Mm,
going to find it very difficult to hold on to your own people, and claim to be believing the same thing, and whilst you are not participating. So either your church is going to bleed. And now when you hear, I didn't listen to the sermons, I can tell you that, for the simple reason I'm too critical. I won't benefit something from it. So I'll probably just look at a lot of things to criticize. The point I am is I'll listen with a very critical mind,
mm.
like criticizing, not critiquing, criticizing,
Good.
which then is of no benefit to me, or
Yeah.
either to the hearers. So
Mm,
I only saw the clips. So if someone manipulated me, they manipulated me through the clips.
mm,
And I was having a conversation. I'm not so sure if it was you prior to this, or yesterday, or somebody else, when I was asking, because I heard this statement about get out of your chicken house, budai muchirugwi
Danga.
kind of statement.
Okay.
Anger, and
Yeah.
in all honesty, to me, when I heard that, I thought maybe the allegory is being taken from a caged ego. The story of the ego that was caged,
Mm.
and
Mm,
it
mm,
stayed
mm.
in a cage for a long
A
time,
long time, yeah.
until when it was released, it couldn't
Couldn't
flip
go,
because it
yeah,
still
yeah.
felt that it was. For me, that's what I thought. It was only when I consulted with others who actually listened, and they were like, "No, it wasn't about that story." That's
Yeah.
when I was like, "So." I thought this, you see,
Mm.
and then you start wondering, then if we are in sharing the good news, for example, we then call others, maybe we're trying to do the very same work with limited resources and with limited ability, but working
Yeah.
within their community. I don't think it's respectful, especially when you want to be respected, to then call them names in a way like you are demeaning them. And also the threats of, like, if you continue saying bad things about us, we are saying you're going to be beaten whilst in
I
the pulpit. And notice that not is just a threat. It happened. It happened.
happened.
It happened. And people were threatened whilst in the pulpit and almost beaten in the pulpit.
Mm.
It's sometimes there are things that are not out there, but it did happen. Um, so when you then look at that, you realize then that this is no longer the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is no longer about winning souls to Christ. This is intimidation, like you said. For me, it becomes a political move. For me, I
Yeah.
then look at the conventions if that is the driving message. Because people sometimes we feel like, oh, you're just looking for like one thing to criticize. You're missing the all other good things that are happening. We fail to realize that the manipulation doesn't work in all bad things
Mm.
and then one little good. No, manipulation works in a lot of good things
Yeah.
and then one or two things that are anchoring being the bad ones. And people don't look at it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if people cannot separate to say, yes, we might talk of other things, we might quote the Bible, but then when leadership, when people of respect, either by position or either by financial muscle, come out and say certain statements that are of intimidation, the hearer in that moment they might not take it, but when they are outside, when the conventions are going to be done
Yeah.
and elections come in 2030, not elections, when probably the political party say let's do a resolution so that the president can increase his presidential term, you are going to think of what you were told by your pastor, that if you disagree with us muchirugwi chako uchaita sei,
Yeah.
ucharogwa.
Charo.
And so then that is how manipulation
Mm.
works. You
Yeah.
see, then this is how deceit works, because you now have a voice which was supposed to be a voice of God to you, a voice that is encouraging you, that is showing you the way, that is either saying, no, just give in.
Mm.
That in itself, in whatever circumstances and situation, whether be it in the message or outside the message, that is intimidation. For me, that is political maneuvering. And
Yeah.
then I look then therefore at the um at the conventions. I say, if you remember in 2008 or it's 2013, the former president, the late Robert Mugabe, had the Meet the People rallies.
Yeah.
10 rallies before elections. He went in each and every province
You said
meeting the people.
2007.
I'm not so sure it's 2007, 2000, it's 2008 or 2007, 2013. Most likely 2013 or something like that. I'm not
Yeah.
so sure. But you do meet the people rallies in 10 provinces. So 10 rallies in 10 provinces.
Mm.
What do? You carry a team, and you go and you campaign with the
Mm.
people.
With the
You,
people.
you go and you do your message. You have got one headline act, you move, you do, and then the message again is of repetition. It builds momentum. It starts easy, then building momentum, or the anger that was building up, or the love that was building up, or the anticipation. Those that were at borderline saying, "Oh, can we be part of this?" When it then comes to your province,
Mm.
maybe your province number 7, you are more like, "Oh, we might as well go." For
Yeah.
me, that is then the subtle tactics that if I am to assume, and now just shooting in the wild, I would say then the political party, and this is the bigger picture that people are not seeing.
Mm.
The message community in Zimbabwe had not been infiltrated for a long time.
Yeah.
we have got people in high echelons of power, right? But they had no voice. They did not speak publicly the way that the advisor speaks. The
Mm.
SDA church in Zimbabwe had
Mm.
also had not been manipulated or
Mm.
infiltrated to the point you have got one of the respected people speaking so much.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, so this is the bigger picture.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, because my post story, they are already done with.
Yeah.
Other churches, some of them they've been already dealt with. Then you've got this pseudo group, you've got this pseudo conservative group, the anti message, and this SDA. In SDA, they have Tagwire.
Yeah.
Tagwire goes straight to say, I'm going into Presidium. I want his comes out openly,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I don't know how the SDA framework works. But what it does, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone in SDA agrees, but it puts the other ones who look at him, in a different way to say, oh, if the leader who is managed to come to think
Yeah.
of it. If
Yeah.
you see many bloggers that I usually say, if you look at the many bloggers on Facebook today, they are SDA.
Yeah.
You should sit down and think to say, okay, what's happening? Many bloggers, right? Darema Chinda is SDA.
Yeah. Ego.
If you look, even Zigo is SDA. You,
Yeah.
you, you know that. And I'm not to attack these bloggers because they are bigger than us, but I'm saying somewhat, somewhere, there is a push of either making sure that the masses that are held by these churches, you see,
Mm.
not that they were
Yeah.
protesting against the ruling party, but the kind of mindset that these people had. And
Mm.
actually, the mindset that these people have, especially in the military circles, is if the leader says something, you are rarely going to find someone disagreeing with what
Yes.
the leader has said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you have got a respected leader moving around the whole country, and behind there is that message of like, which
Mm.
is, seemingly it's a good message of saying, no, you know what, it's for development, it's for African development, we can do it alone. But it's mainly pushing what sounds more of a political ideology than it
Mm.
is pushing Christianity.
Yes.
That is the big picture that many people might not look at this. We might
Mm.
look at this, oh, it's just our disagreements, or BV always does that, it does its thing in its own way. But I think this is way bigger than it BV. This is
Yeah.
more of a political machination. This is more of a political move, a
Mm.
propaganda of high regards.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is my theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
We've
I've
not
said it.
seen anything like this in these past years, and you'd find that this thing just started recently, and it's like what you're saying. It started with SDA. It was not a church that would do such a thing, but you'd find its leader, one of its leaders, is now on top in that
That race.
organization and in that race exactly. So you'd find that whenever they do their meetings or revivals and stuff, this elder is there. He's also pushing this same agenda. Now we have the
And
message in Zim also joining
agenda.
this train again.
And,
Exactly.
and, and for the SDA, the funny thing, do you know what?
Mm.
For the SDA, what is compelling for me for the SDA is the main opposition leader for the past elections, Chamisa, is an
Yeah.
SDA member.
Yes. Yes.
And Chamisa, the moment he loses, without doing anything, all of a sudden he says, I quit,
I quit.
without even pushing a fight. And all of a sudden, you find someone from his church
Rising.
rising up in the opposition, in Chamisa's opposition,
Yeah.
which is now the ruling party. And you say these things are not linked.
Mm.
Somewhat, these things are not linked. Somewhat, this is just a coincidence that the elder from Chamisa's church wants to go to the ruling party, and Chamisa calls politics off just because he's. Maybe I'm reading too much into things that are not
You
existent.
see,
But
no. If you look at the trend also, if you look at it, as we say that the context in whatever you say is very important. Look, this thing started with the SDA. Now it's the message. You see this. If you look at all the churches in Zim, The message now is the one that is really pushing this thing. And the trend that is there is that there is this thing of giving. Chivayo is giving cars. Do you think it's just giving? And Chivayo is very straight, and because he doesn't fear anyone, he doesn't have backlash after he does or says something. Because he's saying that because you support ZANU PF, you've supported ZANU PF here, and there you were there, you were singing at their rally and so forth. We are going to give you cars, right?
Yeah.
Come to the message now. The person who is in the ZANU PF, if you are close to the president as the advisor, you are most probably a ZANU PF, right?
You can't advise and not and go and vote
and,
against the
and
person
because
who's
also
benefiting.
that's your bread and butter. That's where you are eating. How can you go against that? And that very same person is giving the cars because he's a believer of the message of the hour, is giving cars to the preachers. The same thing that is happening with the Jivai. Jivai started giving them apostles. If you look back, where he started
Yes.
giving cars, started giving them apostles.
Church.
At some point, he gave about 100 Aquas, Toyota Aquas, to
To his
Mapostoli,
members.
to his members. That time, it was only Mapostoli. Right. And then he started giving all these socialites and big artists and stuff. You look into the message now, even the pastors that are giving cars is the same big
It's the
pastor.
same operating. You
The
can see the
same
model
thing.
separating.
Exactly. So it's going like that. Chivayo with the Mapo story. Tagwire, we've never heard him giving cars. We don't know what's happening there. But what is happening, what we know now is that in the message, people are receiving cars from a ZANU PF a member, and the agenda that is being pushed there. Because how can you be coming to a Jesus Christ revival talking about the ED, talking about the how ED has transformed, ED has done this and that. You see, so
Yeah.
if you look at it, you see that there is an agenda that is being driven. There is a lot of things that are going on. So, and
So yeah.
also, a we don't want people to think we are against the message. We are against the system that people are using in the message. The
Yeah.
manipulation of the bride of Christ, people are being manipulated a lot. And you might not see it because if you receive a car, if your pastor receives a car, would you see that, oh, there is something? You might not see it.
My friend, this is transforming people's lives. I don't want to lie.
Yeah.
I don't want to lie. People's lives have been transformed. There are people who have benefited this greatly, families whose lives have been transformed. And from a humane point, I can say, my guy, that's the gig you could only get at this point. You didn't have money. If you are being sponsored to go come and play and you get whatever you're going to be paid, if you just stayed in your churug, you probably wouldn't get that.
Yeah.
But people should be at least sit down, think, and look at the bigger picture of what is at operation at this time. We could be very wrong because we are people. We've got our own biases because I'm outside. You know, maybe if I was inside and I've been called, come, let's go, and you're going to MC Panega 2 wire Gamdara, I'll just go. And I'm not saying people are being paid. Some people, they're just going there because of their love, because there's free transport. Do you get it? But I'm saying if people then don't sit down and look it from a point of like, but to what bigger picture are we playing this into? Is this not a model of a rally? Is this not church? Because the thing is the message. You grow up being told, watch politics. You know, the three powers of the devil. What are the three? You know, politics, religion, and Satan. I don't know whatever the third
Demon.
one. And
Religion, demons.
you see politics, religion, and demons. So
Mm.
then you see politics and politician having a platform and having a say, you know, in church. Then you start thinking in terms of like, okay, what is happening here. You have got two things we can see: politics and religion. So somewhat is the Holy Ghost there, or the demons has already taken over. You see, now this is how you blow the bigger picture. If people
Yeah.
could look at it from that point, away from like, oh, I'm benefiting or I'm not benefiting. So okay, fine, yes, I've got my 200, but if I am to look at this thing in the context, in the lens, and this is what I always implore people. So people are quick to say, taps, you sound to be against the message, or you sound to be. I was like, you can never deny that from me, because I've grown up in the church, and I know what we've been taught. If we see something that is going awry, we'll be like, but guys, didn't you teach us something different from
Yes.
this? Who would have thought that people are going to gather and hear a sermon that is mainly speaking with how we should be in line with what the president of the state is doing in the message? You see, so it's this which here at Let's Talk we would want people to say, okay, sit down, critically think now. Don't be a critic, but
Yeah.
critically examine. Just look at it, ask questions to what benefit, to whose benefit. Why is it that there seem to be this so much link? And look at the trail. Is it unity? What unity? Is it not false unity? Is it true unity? And I always say, you mentioned about the pastor that received uh, the car in Mashingo, one of the pastors that received the car in Mashingo. If you listened to the uh, interview that I did with Jeremiah, with Gerald,
Yeah.
we're mentioning about the split in Mashingo, but these people are being called to unite. So is it uniting to form one church again, or uniting to keep? Let's start inviting each other to each other's pulpits. Because after all, these people have been given a car by one person. I don't know, but this is just me who's watching from far away. So you start thinking, so is there a push to say, for example, then in Mashingo, you were one church, why not come together again and just be one church? Do you see? Because where is then the true unity if after a convention in which you were together, you cannot preach in each other's pulpits? Do you see that now? So this is what I'm saying. Critically, you're now analyzing.
Analyzing.
You're now looking at, okay, fine, yes, unity has been preached, preachers have been given cars, but the separation had animosity. You see, and this always happens, especially in the message circles when there is a split. We spoke about that. Usually, people don't split in good terms and give each other right terms of fellowship. They send each other to hell and tell you are no longer a Christian. So then, what is this unity about? I would want them to be united, honestly. It helps families. But I've been privileged to be an MC in one of the weddings in Mashingo, and seeing a family, a pastor, not attending a wedding just because somebody has married someone from a church that they don't like. That is not unity, and I hope it has changed. So you look at things like, okay, fine, there is grandstanding where we are playing to the public, but is it helpful? Is it true unity? Is this the unity that Jesus Christ prayed for? Let they be one as we are one.
One, yeah.
And if then that unity is of understanding to say, okay, fine, we have got unmitigatable differences, but you might as well come and preach to me. I'll say it's a good way. We're on the right track back to be fellowshipping together. But that's me just talking too much, as I always do.
Well, I think we cannot dwell too much on this. Maybe we'll stop here and see what other things we can. Maybe after posting, we'll see. This coming week, what will happen again. And also, please, to all the people that are going to listen to this, I've seen that there's a lot of people that come to us and say, "You guys, why are you talking about this? Someone gave me an example of Aaron, was it Aaron, Miriam, Zipporah,
They spoke something against the
saying that
prophet.
they're talking about against the prophet. The Bible also say that we must try every spirit. So this is in the public domain. If anything is in the public domain is subject for scrutiny, we still talk about it, and because it's preached to us. The reason it's on YouTube, YouTube is a public platform
Public
where
domain.
everyone
Yeah.
goes there and watch and give their comments. We are not different from the people that are writing on the comment section. We are discussing it, and we still have the right to do so, and we are going to do so because there's a lot of people that will not see what is going on in the message, especially in Zim. A lot of people won't see. They just okay, they're just giving cars. They're just doing this and stuff. And also, don't get us wrong. Giving cars is fine. Give even houses, whatever you want to give. But what is the motive when you are giving someone? Because I can,
Mhm,
okay, for example, you can give a girl because you just want to sleep with the girl. You can give a girl flowers because you want to sleep with the girl, right?
mhm.
So this is what we are seeing is happening. That's why we say this is our own personal opinions that we are saying here. That we this is like what we've said.
Yeah.
So please, um, let's be respectful. We are respectful to these pastors. We respect them. We respect their decision. Nothing wrong in supporting the ZANU PF political party. It's your right.
Yeah.
And but for us, we end the message of the hour. We believe what we have been taught, and if things go outside of the line of the message, we have to talk about it. We have to address it. And if you have queries, please also write in the comment section again, because this is in the public domain. If you want to do a podcast about this podcast, you are welcome to do it. Yes. And also, if you want to
Yeah.
invite us there, we can also talk to you.
Yeah, that's very true. And I can echo that.
Yeah.
And just a thought that came whilst you were talking is those comments are actually a result of intimidation.
Yeah. Yes.
That's fear. That's what fear is. People think they're doing something gallant in warning, but they are actually afraid.
Afraid.
It's not like they are not talking about it. They
Mm.
do talk about it, but they talk about it in muted tones. So when they
Yeah.
see someone, it's fear that says, "Oh, what you're doing, don't do this." I
Mm.
say this because I had a brother. Oh, probably this was supposed to be the end now. I had a
Now
brother. I said,
we'll
yeah,
wrap up. I think we have 4 minutes.
yeah. I had a brother who, after I've shown him something,
Mm.
and they were like, "You making these things up," and then you give them people to say, "You know what? Okay, fine. Here is the prophet saying it himself."
Mm.
And I this my fear always has been, and I was telling one of my friends to say, is people know things that has been preached on the pulpit.
Mm.
We it's not a lot of people. Yeah, I was telling one gentleman who wrote to me to say, "Oh, Taps, why are you doing this? Why are you always criticizing? Why are you doing this?" And I said, "We always comment on things that are on public domain. You cannot fault me for saying for posting what ZBC has already posted to 8 million, to
8
17 million
million.
people.
Yes. So
You
yeah.
cannot say it's my fault when it's 17 million people. They've actually heard that the message is uniting with ED,
Mm.
in Zimbabwe. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you fault Tapua for posting a
But
ZBC report
ZBC deposited to 8 million people.
to
And
8 million.
you see, with the monopoly of ZBC, it's almost everyone in Zim is watching. Uh,
So it's that which you want to drive in people's mind to say we are not bringing in secret things that have been spoken in secret, which were not
yeah.
like they should not be known. This is no, highly confidential. This has been already published. I had a brother again who was like, "Oh, we are always posting things against." I was like, "Brother, this thing is already on the internet.
It's
I just want you to
everywhere.
see it that it is in the internet, and you are putting a wrong." So it's fear. It's
Mm.
fear, and it's also the inability to separate issues. You can still
Yeah.
love a person You can still call out when he is in the wrong, and you can still point out what you think that is not the right thing to do,
Yeah.
and still be remain respectful.
Yeah.
And because it's a decision made by bigger, wiser, knowledgeable people, probably more gifted than me,
Yeah.
who has got just a microphone here and internet. But that's been a mouthful, and it's good to have you back. And hopefully,
I hope
we're not
and schools also raw because there is a promise that Sharoa one.
Madam Chirugwi.
Sharoa
Hey,
one. So I hope that this is already gonna talk raw because I'm scared now, but because on this
yeah,
one
when are you
episode
going to
after
them? Paunoenda Zimbabwe ungweda make sure kuti uenda chinyararire.
but okay. Uzauti kana wakatarget kwauzimu uchingopinda pabhodha passport yako ichitongoskanwa kudai sonombozati apinda.
Mazuva ano unoenda neye kugedhi reri, ndakapinda nekagedhi kangu ndega. Aoenda nekugedhi kungoti ndega ndichipinda ndakaenda.
Yeah, kana une e-passport obva urongozvibudira woendako. Yeah, because
Usingatsvage zvakawanda, asi kana vachizoti uri kuuya havo vakomana vachona vanenge
kana
vakumirira.
vachitobuda kana especially kana paitori nevimbe zvekuti pacharohwa munhu.
But I'm a brother arove vanhu. My brother arove vanhu. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Let's Talk, and we just been catching up with our brother Mordecai, who has been away, and hopefully this conversation is you have enjoyed it as we did, as we always do. And please leave a like, a comment in on the comment section, share it to other people. We are glad that you are watching. We just want to encourage you now to show that you are watching. You're watching in secret because the data comes out and shows us that you've watched in secret. But can you now at least leave a like, leave a comment? This helps spreading now the podcast to other people. You can see other people's podcast because the people that go to their podcast, they share and comment. So please do this to us and support Mordecai because basa rinofanira kuti remberi anoti atira mari yotenga mapamba, but no, vana vakachotenga mapamba.
Anopfeka mapamba, but I can still afford now. I'm still affording to buy pampers.
So it's been a blast. Until next time, this is your host Tapiwa Bakosa. The Lord bless you and keep you, and may His face shine on you. Goodbye.
Bye.